in Yellowknife, we're often accustomed to -30, -40 in the wintertime.
Yeah.
And so at that point, they've kind of lost all their efficiency. Heat pumps just, the technology is not where it needs to be able to be your primary heating source.
Everybody, it's Member of Parliament Bob Zimmer today in Yellowknife, Northwest Territories with Mark Heyck.
Very nice to meet you, Bob.
Nice to meet you, Mark. I saw the article in Cabin Radio. You had talked about heat pumps, because we're hearing about heat pumps a lot.
Yeah.
But you've been doing some research on this, and you're probably one of the experts on heat pumps in Yellowknife. Are they kind of the answer as an alternative to either heating oil or other forms of heat for Yellowknife?
So where you have a more moderate climate and perhaps lower electricity costs, I think heat pumps currently are an excellent alternative.
Right.
For us here in the Northwest Territories, we have two factors that could impact whether heat pumps are either economically or technically feasible.
Right.
One is the cost of electricity. So we're paying 34 cents a kilowatt hour here in Yellowknife, and that's one of the lower rates that you would see across the territory.
Right.
So that's a first major challenge. The other challenge we face is the climate that we have. So in recent years, heat pump developers have come out with what they're calling cold climate air source heat pumps, and they are proving to perform better in colder temperatures.
Yeah.
But in Yellowknife, we're often accustomed to -30, -40 in the wintertime.
Yeah.
And so at that point, they've kind of lost all their, and we really can't afford to pay for heating that's kind of a 1-to-1 ratio with what we pay for the cost of electricity. The current conditions do not make heat pumps super favorable here. But I would say for ourselves, and I think I can quite safely say for Nunavut, in the near term, heat pumps just, the technology is not where it needs to be able to be your primary heating source. A bit more 30,000 foot level. We don't have the electrical capacity right now to support widespread adoption of heat pumps. We have a couple of major hydro systems here on the north side of Great Slave Lake, and then we have the Tultson hydro system in the South Slave. Beyond that, sort of north of here, basically we have microgrids. So each community is a grid unto itself, and those communities are generating their electricity with diesel generation.
A study that was done, I think it was Yukon themselves that said at this point to do a transition from an oil-based form of heating using heat pump as an alternative was only a 2% gain in terms of lessening the emissions, moving from oil to that.
I think as a territory, it's quite clear that in order to meet the territory's climate goals and greenhouse gas emission reduction targets, electrification is going to be a huge part of that.
Key, yeah.
So it will undoubtedly, whether it's space heating or transportation, we will need to increase our electrical capacity, and hydro is the most obvious answer for that. Right now, when we look at current technologies, as an organization, Arctic Energy Alliance has been pushing the envelope to incentivize people to move to higher efficiency heating appliances.
Sure.
So if you have a 20-year-old furnace and it needs to be replaced,
come talk to you.
You can come to us for a rebate. However, it does need to meet a very high fuel efficiency rating.
Gotcha.
So that's kind of the most obvious because it's the most readily available fuel source throughout the Northwest Territories. Biomass for us is clearly the most...
Pellets, right?
Pellets or even cordwood is most clearly the most realistic alternative today.
Okay.
Now if you're getting a pellet stove or a wood stove, you can't necessarily heat an entire home with that. You do need still your backup heating system, whatever that may be. It could be propane, could be heating oil. But that's kind of the situation we're in right now. We think that in terms of the near term, that's really where people should be going, either increasing the efficiency of their current fossil fuel heating systems, or moving to something like biomass and wood pellets.
Alternatives really aren't a choice in Yellowknife. You can't just simply rely on almost a sole system. It has to have some backup.
Yes.
When it's cold outside, wishful thinking just isn't going to keep you warm.
Key component of everything we do as an organization when we're supporting or recommending new technologies, we want to be 100% certain that they're going to work and they're going to work as advertised. And that people's homes ultimately at the end of the day are going to be kept warm.
Thanks, Mark, today. Appreciate your time giving us the facts.
Yeah, you bet.
About heat pumps in Yellowknife.
Yeah.